Our work on water infrastructure is not just focused on the short term. We want to build a sustainable system that ensures that First Nation communities have access to safe drinking water now and for generations to come. And today, we're making ourselves accountable. We're making future governments accountable. And while there have been many reasons for the delay, I want to state as clearly as possible that ultimately I bear the responsibility for this, and I have the responsibility and the duty to get this done. Today, we're announcing an additional investment of more than $1.5 billion to accelerate work to lift all long-term drinking water advisories on reserve. What communities want is not an Ottawa-imposed deadline. It's a long-term commitment to access to clean water. For this, they need funding to support measures such as training and retention of qualified staff and support for the daily operations and maintenance activities, which is critical to ensuring the lasting effects of these investments. With this new funding, we're standing with First Nations partners to ensure access to clean and safe drinking water for generations to come. For every community with a long-term drinking water advisory, there is a project team and an action plan in place to resolve it. Providing First Nations communities with the resources that they need to operate and maintain their water systems is central to creating long-lasting solutions. To detect and identify issues and problems with the water systems earlier and ensure long-term drinking water advisories are reduced going forward, we will be allocating $616 million over 6 years to First Nations on reserve. This new investment will offer reliable and lasting funding for First Nations so they can keep water infrastructures in their community in good condition, resulting in longer water system life cycles and more durable solutions. Building and improving clean water infrastructure is also a core component of any work to provide access to clean and reliable drinking water. Today's investment also includes an investment of $553 million in new funding to continue to build and support water and wastewater infrastructure on reserve to prevent future long-term drinking water advisories from occurring. Additionally, $309 million will be allocated to support the ongoing work to lift all long-term drinking water advisories on public systems on reserve by helping to respond to the project delays, including those due to COVID-19. Le financement annoncé de plus de 1,5 milliard de dollars soutiendra
the funding of more than $1.5 billion will support First Nations to maintain some 1,200 water and waterwork networks and ensure the reliability of the service for years to come. This means that communities, without having to work towards a deadline, will have a long-term commitment for access to clean drinking water. They need funding to do so to support measures such as training, retaining qualified personnel, and support for their daily activities, operations, and cleaning, for example. Maintenance, which is essential to ensure that these investments have long-term effects. With this funding, we'll be working alongside our First Nation partners to ensure that access to clean drinking water is a given for generations to come. Providing First Nations community with the resources they need to run and maintain their water and waterworks systems, wastewater systems, is essential for long-lasting solutions. To support daily operations and maintenance of these infrastructures, and even after the lifting of water advisories, we will allocate $616.3 million over 6 years for First Nations living on reserves. This new investment will supply long-lasting and reliable funding that the First Nations can use to maintain their infrastructures in good condition. It will also help detect problems earlier and contribute to reducing long-term advisories on drinking water. This funding will also support training for operators and help communities to better retain qualified operators for years to come. The construction and improvement of drinking water infrastructure are also an essential part of the work to be done to provide clean, reliable drinking water. In this respect, today's investment also includes $553 million that will continue to fund these infrastructures in reserves so that they can avoid new drinking water advisories. Moreover, $309 million will be allocated to support efforts to lift all long-term drinking water advisories for public networks in reserves to help respond to delays.
Partnership. We're listening to communities, and we want to let them know that our government is going to be there for the long run. The work that's been done is guided by the urgency of the need, but it cannot be dictated by an imposed deadline. It is set according to First Nations priorities, and they may have a lot of priorities. For example, in Shoal Lake 40 First Nations, the critical Freedom Road was completed before work began on their water system. The road allowed them to be able to bring the necessary equipment into their community, and work continues today on their new water treatment plant. Every boiled water advisory is unique, and we are actively exploring every possible solution in coordination with community leadership to ensure safe, clean drinking water. Our decisions must respect and listen to community needs and respond to community priorities. This work is key, and we are working quickly with communities and partners to end all long-term drinking water advisories. That is what Canadians expect from us. More must be done, and today's announcement is a reminder of the urgency of that need. It's a reminder of our commitment to First Nations and to reconciliation. And let me be clear, our government is not and will not abandon our commitment to ensuring First Nations on reserve have clean, safe, and reliable drinking water. Notre objectif reste le même.
Our goal remains the same, to build and maintain sustainable systems that will provide First Nation communities with access to safe drinking water for the long term, forever. We will continue to work in partnership with First Nations leaders so that everyone in every community has access to clean, safe, reliable drinking water. These are shared goals and shared achievements that show we can accomplish a lot through respect, cooperation, and partnership.
Tonika Wanage.